Could you please clarify which is the most important criterion for evaluating the correctness of actions in magical practice? Are inner sensations more important than logical reasoning and obligatory magical rules, and if so, why? This question came up during Samhain regarding the obligation of setting a separate table. Yes, let me explain to our colleagues. At Samhain, we set a separate table especially for our dead, whom we welcome. Following my own sensations, I set only one table. After all, this is the only night of the year when we can all be together. And the whole point, as I see it, is that we all come together around one table. Otherwise, it's just like being in a restaurant. Send a bottle of champagne over to that table. Of course, experience is important in the magical arts, and it's better for beginners to follow the rules. And yes, motivation also matters a great deal. But still, is there an absolute obligation? How should one act? What is the criterion for making a choice? Well, colleagues, regarding this separate table, I think perhaps the text or information was simply misunderstood. We invite the dead and the departed to join us at our table. We also invite the gods. However, it is generally believed that the deceased accept offerings when the living are not present. That is at night, when everyone is asleep and there is no one around. That is when the feast of the dead begins. And that's why this table is called a separate table. It's set apart and left especially for them overnight. It's not as if one table is set up for us and another for them. Not for that reason. So apparently, it was simply a misunderstanding. Offerings for the dead were traditionally left by the fireplace or hearth. But not everyone living in city flats has a fireplace, and of course you wouldn't put offerings on the stove. That's why we say a separate table. In the past, offerings were usually left by the fireplace or by the hearth, if there was one. But as I said, such a fireplace is rarely present now. The idea that you should follow your impulses is correct. It's the right way. Listen to your inner impulses. Of course, it's best to combine both the old traditions, proven over years, centuries, and even millennia, and your own inner sensations. Because no one knows your loved ones better than you do. If you manage to combine these two elements, I think there will be neither harm nor damage.